Positive energy all the time. Good to see you all. We ready to rock and roll. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, run those likes up. Let's get it. You know how we do, rep your city, rep your city. I'm representing Chicago, Illinois. Shout out to everybody on Facebook, everybody on Twitch, everybody on Kick, and everybody on YouTube. Come on in, come on in. We got the NOLA in the building. Yeah, we got the NOLA in the building. We got Greensboro in the building. We got New Orleans in the building. We got Buffalo, New York in the building. Much respect to everybody that's watching, all the supporters, all the haters. Hi, haters. We got Washington, D.C. in the building. That's right. Hit that like button on arrival. The beautiful Arnell is here getting busy, making sure ain't nobody trolling. Yeah, she on troll alert. Y'all better watch it. Yeah, she on troll alert. Yeah. Yeah, she on troll alert. You know, we on top of these trolls. We watching these trolls. Yeah, Minnesota's in the building. Yeah, we watching these trolls. Don't come over here trolling. Stay up under the bridge where you belong with the billy goats, okay? Listen, stay, all the trolls. Stay up under the bridge with the billy goats, okay? Where you belong. All right. We got the great city of Atlanta in the building. Gotta love Atlanta. My parents took us down to Georgia when I was young. We went to Six Flags over Mid-America. Is that still there? Six Flags over Mid-America. And then my first time going to Atlanta on my own was when I got out of high school. I drove my girlfriend down there. I think we was 18. Drove down to the ATL. That's when they still have underground Atlanta. The last time I went to Atlanta, I didn't really get to do much. Took me too long to get there. I got caught in a bad storm going over the mountains of Kentucky and Tennessee. It was scary. It was scary. But yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. We got Minnesota in the building. I have another one of my strange conversations. But you know, one of my strange conversations I'm going to talk about. I'm going back to the F the streets that 21 Savage was saying. I've been still thinking about that, and something else occurred to me that I want to let you all in. I said, oh, it's more than meets the eye, okay? It was a really bad thunderstorm, and we was up in those high mountains in Kentucky, right before you come over and go into Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Kentucky. It might have been when we got to Tennessee before we came into Georgia. Who knows up the road? Well, anywhere from Chicago to Atlanta, you got to go in the mountains where there's nowhere to pull over and it's just rocks. And it got to raining real crazy. It wasn't a lot of winds. It was just raining real crazy. And you couldn't drive too fast. And coming down, it was a truck and he was hitting his brakes all the way down, like, and it was like he couldn't stop. And it's like it's bad weather. And I don't want him to catch up with me. It was just really bad. It was really bad, okay? So by the time we got there, we were supposed to get there early in the day to enjoy that night. By the time we got there, we missed that whole evening, which threw the whole date off. I was with a woman. So it kind of messed the whole trip up. And we were supposed to get there, check in, and go hit the town that first night. Missed that. So then it was all weird. It was like a last minute trip that I really shouldn't have just did that like that, but you know. I'm not sure. Yeah, Chicago to Georgia, you got to go. Kentucky, Tennessee, you got to go in the mountains. Yeah, you got to go in the mountains. When you're in Mississippi, you going. Hold on. If you're going to Mississippi, if you're going to Mississippi, you're not going to go in them because you're going to go on the edge. You're going to go west. So if you're going to Mississippi, you're going to go a little west. So you're going around the mountains. You're going on the edge of Kentucky and Tennessee. But if you're going from Chicago to Atlanta, you're going right down the middle. So you was on the edge. Long Ranger, you was on the edge. That's why you didn't go over the mountains. Mississippi is like 2 states over. Yeah, it's crazy. No, it's all right if it ain't raining. If it ain't no storm, it's just, and it's dry, boom, it's not no problem. I went with my parents many times because we had to go that way to go to Alabama. Kind of, sort of. So, it ain't no problem. But it was a bad rainstorm. It wasn't just a little rain. It was a bad storm, which was a lesson learned. I should have, if I would have checked the weather, I would have put it off. But, I was just trying to take the woman and have a good time, surprise her. Come on, let's just go to Atlanta. That whole trip was a disaster, but hey, it is what it is. So come on in. I'm going to talk about shutting down hustling because I've still been thinking about F the Streets from 21 Savage. So I've been thinking about the F the Streets from 21 Savage that I definitely didn't agree with. Uh, that is, I don't know, you could just say anything nowadays. You know, anytime you can get in the music business, get a street name like 21 Savage, represent the streets, rap about the streets, make a lot of money representing the streets. Then after you get your money and you're in a position where you don't have to be in the streets no more, you can turn around and say F the streets and people are honored that. Now, if you're a preacher or you go to church or you're a Christian or you do gospel music, you do R&B music, you say F the streets, it makes sense. But if you like a gangster thug rapper, right? If you a savage, you 21 Savage, and you making records red rum, red rum. All I see is red rum. You making crazy music. You getting rich off of singing this to the youth. You want to turn around and say the youth going to jail, right, from the music, but you the one sent. If that's true, if the youth is listening to the music and going to jail and going to prison and being on the line, then 21 Savage, you the one sent them to prison. If your philosophy is correct, he's the one sent them to prison. He's the one got him out there. He is the one that destroyed Atlanta hip hop. He's one of the ones. Atlanta was on the top when it came to hip hop. Facts. When you start getting around to Outkast, Atlanta took over. New York fell off. And it's the 21 Savage and that whole group that destroyed Atlanta. Because they didn't follow the Bragg, Jermaine Dupri, that group, Goody Mob. They started beefing. So he's just saying anything. But that's not okay. That's not the angle I'm coming from. So I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about that. Da, 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 da. So I started thinking about F the streets, F the streets. And then I started thinking about the money. So you say F the streets, you talk about the hustling on the streets, you're talking about the getting money on the streets, right? So I was thinking about that about an hour and a half ago. Now, for this to make sense, let me break down something. We're kind of on some esoterical type cosmic conversation. In this world, now he's not a plant because he came as a kid. So I still consider him in Atlanta because he came as a kid. Like Ludacris left Chicago, Illinois, and moved to Atlanta as a kid. So if you come here as a kid and you grow up, you're officially one of us. Now, if he came as an adult, yeah. If he even came as 18, 19 or no, but he came like 6 years old, 5 years old. And if I moved to Chicago at 5 years old, I'm Chicago because technically, Lisa, you're not, you don't rep your city. Okay, you don't really rep your city till you get about at least fifth grade. About right? No, but here goes the thing. she's right depending on his age. But this is what I want to break down. Let's deal with that first. If you move, no matter where you move to, you don't represent your city until about the fifth grade. So, like me, not just where you lived the longest, when you came there. It's when you came there. If you come at a certain age, you definitely a transplant, not negatively, right? Because you've already dealt with one culture and now you switch it to another culture. So if you come in from Africa or somewhere like that, and you're an adult, or you any older than fifth grade, yeah, you did one culture, then you did another, right? But okay, I'm born in Chicago, right? But I can't claim Chicago until the fifth grade, right? Because 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, you represent in front of the house. Yeah. Right. So when you, you know what I'm saying? So when a little boy, only thing I could represent was 11643 Aberdeen on my little bike on the block. I don't know nothing about Chicago. I know about the block. I know about Julie and Gail and Ludi and Jesse. I know that. I know the kids on the block. So I'm repping hide and go seek, catch a girl, kiss a girl, Captain May I, you know, running bases or whatever you could do on the block, because mommy not letting you, mommy not letting you go to Chicago. Okay, mommy, you can't see Chicago. You can see in front of this house. Okay, that's all you get to see. So not really, I don't really represent Chicago yet. You gotta, it takes a little while. So I represent in front of the house, right? So I represent in front of the house, and then when I go outside, right? Then I start to represent the community. Mommy let me, I go over on Laughlin, I go over on Loomis and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, then you start watching baseball and basketball. You growing up, and now you kind of becoming Chicago. Go Bulls, go Cubs. Now you represent Chicago, and now you starting to represent a city in the U.S. It takes a little time. And so, if you came to Chicago at 7 years old, hey man, and you was in Chicago in the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, you Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I lived on 11643 South Aberdeen. Y'all. So 21 Savage is one of us. And he definitely one of us. Definitely. That's all he know. He don't know nothing about England. So that ain't got nothing to do with it. He one of us. But he on the dark side. So that's what I'm getting to. He's on the dark. He's 21. He's a savage, right? So I don't agree with nobody that's a savage, got their face tattooed out like a monster, been pushing the drill culture, been pushing the red rum. I don't agree with nobody that already caused the problem, disrespecting everybody else that's coming into the problem that they started. So I don't respect nobody that was in the streets that helped push the streets, turn around and say F the streets, especially after you got rich off the streets. He got all his money off of street ideology and street culture. So now you rich or in a position to look rich, because he might not even be rich, but they get in a position, they have a little money, they can get paid to do some shows, some pretty good money, 10,000 a show, 15,000 a show. That's pretty good money. Sometime more than that. So now all of a sudden, you as a curator, you use the music to make money, And now you're trying to backtrack. I don't respect that. But here's the thing. There is a dark energy in the world right now trying to push an agenda. And the way this energy works is it has a lot of moving pieces that don't know each other. So to have a moving piece over here that don't know nothing about the moving piece over here, and they got another moving piece over here. So this Luciferian movement has you doing stuff over here, but you don't know that what you're doing over here is helping over here. This is how it works. So you be in the dark working for the Antichrist and you don't even know it. So like he's working for the Antichrist. He got the whole Antichrist look, face all tattooed up with crosses on his forehead. Sing, you got a cross on your forehead. You sing about red rum, red rum. You singing dark. Your music is dark. Your identity is dark. You're 21 Savage, right? Your energy is dark. So you come out, you say F the streets. Now, when we start talking about F the streets, on the hustling side, we talking about, you're talking about hustling. So if you go against the streets, you're going against money people getting in the streets. Now, if you ain't really a G like that, you're going to say, you want us to be able to get money, but you don't want the violence. Bro, it's murder, it's money, it's murder and money. There is no way you can have street operations with no violence. You sound crazy. And that's what you sign up for. You can't have a house selling nothing. You can't be out here selling nothing with no violence. Was you really outside? Because outside, hustling outside, automatic violence, automatic. There's no such thing as hustling outside and no violence. So if you're saying F the streets because of the violence, you're saying F the hustling. Everybody in the streets know that when you're in the streets, you got to get stuff to package your stuff in. You got to buy the stuff. You got to have a scale to weigh the stuff. You got to have somewhere to a way to sell the stuff. And you got to have a gun. A lot of time, guns, if you in the streets. So to try to push some type of streets the way they do, and I already talked about that, I don't agree with the way they deal with that, but let's just go with their ideology because I'm talking about them. If you're talking about the streets as far as hustling and gangster stuff, how you going to separate? How you going to separate? How you going to clean up the streets? So you're saying F the streets based on what? If you go all the way back and watch Black Caesar and them, it was violence. In the streets with the Italians, the Irish, the blacks. What are you talking about? You don't know about Al Capone, Bugs Moran, Lucky Luciano? What are you talking about? What? Okay, if you got a store like Target, which are now being victims of smash and grab because the security ain't right. But let's just ignore that and you say like a Target or a bank or something like that, they have security. Now, if you're in illegal businesses on the street, you can't have professional security, but you still got to have security. So you got street security, which might just be you or it might be some of the homies. Now, when you're on the streets, in a city and you're hustling, people involved with your crew is in gangs. So like the people I was hustling with, they was heavily plugged with the BDs and the GDs. I think more so the GDs. Because I think the main dude, I think I always thought he was a BD, but I think he was a GD, but I'm not really sure. We didn't talk about it. I wasn't nothing until I went to the county jail. Then I was a four-corner hustler. That's a whole nother story. But gangs is involved. So you say, could F the streets mean something different to him and others? Maybe like speaking in code, like they not like us could have meant something different. I mean, saying F the streets might have a meaning, but when you put a word out there, the meaning is going to be based on the people you're saying it to. So if I say to you, go to hell, I might mean something, but to you, I said, go to hell, because it's communication. So in communication, if you say F the streets, you talking to the public is going to have their own interpretation. You said F the streets. Now, when you say F the streets and your name's 21 Savage and all your music and your whole persona come from the streets, you a hypocrite. That boy is a hypocrite. That's like me being a pimp and I got a bunch of prostitutes and I'm pimping, and next thing you know, I got a lot of money. So now I'm just like a person that go to play a ball party and stuff. I ain't actually pimping no more. And then I say, the hell with pimping. But my name is Pimpin' Pharaoh. My whole persona is pimp. I make all of my money pimping. And now I'm going to say, F you. You doing the same thing I did. I don't got to do it no more. I'm going to say, F you. So it's like me being in the streets. I got birds, I got kilos, I got all this stuff. I make my money, I get rich. Then I look at the shorties doing that and say, nah, F the streets. But my whole, he streets. Since when did 21 Savage become unstreets? Dude, you represent the streets. How you saying F yourself, F all my music? And then you don't want to take your music down. Take all your street music down then. So that was just phony. Then you backtrack, you say, no, I said it wrong. Save the streets. Bro, just shut up and leave it alone. Right. Iceberg Slim was a goofy. Iceberg Slim was an idiot. Yes, he was a goofy. A hypocrite. We call that a hypocrite. Is a hypocrite. Is a hypocrite. Point blank, period. But here's the thing. Like I say, he's on the dark side. So let's get to what I'm talking about. So you say F the streets. Now, when you say F the streets, you're talking about all the hustling. You're talking about all the hustling. You're talking about all the legal activities. Because when you say F the streets, all that's included. Now, why he's over here working for Lucifer saying F the streets, right? What is the system doing? The system going cashless, right? The system is saying F the streets too. Because in a cashless society, what you going to be able to sell in the streets? Look, let me ask y'all a question. If it's a total cashless society and all transactions have to be made through computer systems in stores and banks, are you going to be able to make any money on the side? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. Let's take this where I'm going. If it's a cashless society, is your baby gonna be able to sell snow cones unless they got something to rake that through so it can go to the bank so the IRS can see every penny? Are you gonna be able to have any way to make money without the government in your business? Is your baby gonna be able to go to the streets and sell and on the street and sell ice cups? That's after streets. Ain't the cashless society after streets? The cashless society is after streets. No transactions. All transactions got to go through our system. That's after streets. Won't be no more. You won't be able to sell no illegal substance. Am I right? Now, why if you go on YouTube and you say that, what's gonna happen to your channel? Y'all see what I'm getting at? Because people over here don't understand this is the system. You can't get on YouTube and talk against the system because the system on YouTube. See, the black man, he don't know what's going on. He outdated. You type the wrong thing in YouTube, your dough might get kicked in. Yeah, your dough kicked because they got your IP address. And depending on who see that, depends on what's going to happen to you in the future. You understand? So it's one thing to say that stuff, right? But to say that stuff on social media ain't the same as at a reggae show, ain't the same as on the block, ain't the same as in the park. You going on their thing, saying the hell with them on their thing, which the way they'll look at it is, okay, well, get off our stuff. Because this is Babylon. So if you say F Babylon on YouTube, how real are you? Because you dealing with Babylon. So you don't really mean it. You don't mean it. You do not mean F Babylon if you're on YouTube. You can't deal with Babylon and say F Babylon. So this digital society is drawing a line in the sand. Y'all think it's a joke, but a line is being, ain't gonna be no more this fake. You either gonna be with it or you gonna be starving. Ain't gonna be no more fence straddling. Ain't gonna be no more. Ain't gonna be no more fence straddling. So over here, we got the street dude, the thugged out savage saying F the streets. Over here, we got the Babylon system agreeing. The Babylon system is saying F the streets. Facts. And people don't really know what they're saying. They just saying anything. They just saying anything and don't know what they're saying. So I started thinking about this and I said, these dudes don't realize what they're saying. 21 savages working for the Babylon system, and he don't even know it. He don't even know it. They already got you where ain't no bank teller. Pretty soon, it won't even be no banks, because if there ain't no cash, they don't need no banks. I went to Target. I went to Target about 8 weeks ago. And when you go to Target, they have these machines here. You go to the machine, you rake your stuff, you got to bag it yourself, right? Cash is inside, but it ain't cashes. So then, boom, when you get ready to pay for your stuff, you can put the cash in the machine, or you could use a debit or credit card, or you could use what's the other card? Right? Rosters is insignificant. You know what I'm saying? Rosters ain't nobody. Rosters say F Babylon right at a Babylon show. How you gonna go to a Babylon auditorium and say F Babylon? I know a roster said he didn't like to go to concerts because he said when rosters go to concerts and chant down Babylon and say Babylon should fall, the place you're having the concert is Babylon. So he said the building gonna fall on you because you in the building. Babylon must fall, but you is singing in Babylon. It take Babylon dollars to go to your concert. The building is Babylon. The promoters throwing the show is Babylon. Ain't no rosters throwing the show. You working for somebody. So you chant down Babylon fall inside a Babylon building. So my elder brethren say he don't like going to them shows because he said the rosters don't know what they saying. And this is a roster brethren. He said because you chanting this stuff to fall, but you in there. So imagine me right now saying Babylon night to fall, and I'm in Chicago, and Chicago's Babylon. Now, what if an earthquake hit and all this stuff fall on me? That's what I asked for, right? If I say Babylon fall, ain't I asking all this stuff to fall? So look, so about 8 weeks ago, I go in a Target, and all the machines say no cash. All the machines said no cash. Cool. I figured maybe the machines broke, right? Boom, I go back 3, 4 days later, no cash. A week later, no cash. 10 days later, no cash. Still today, guess what? No cash. So they not broke. So why they got all the machines saying no cash? And guess what? No cash. All the machines say no cash. You got a green little thing. I'm going to take a picture of it. Next time I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to do a live. I'm going to show you. And no cash is after streets, ain't it? Ain't no cash after streets? Because if you went and you was panhandling and you got some money, or you went and you cut somebody's grass and got some money, it ain't going to be on no debit card. It ain't going to be on no credit card. So if it ain't for the fact they got a couple of cashiers over there to take the money, that money you made on the streets, whether it's legal or illegal, guess what? After streets. After money you made on the streets. You got to make your money through the system. They're not taking no street money. So what I'm trying to say is they got 21 Savage working for the devil. That's why he's 21 Savage with all that demon stuff on his face. He working for the Antichrist. Because on the outside, when he say F the streets, it just sound like, oh, he talking about the gangs and stuff. But no, all of that come with the streets. Free enterprise, making money without Uncle Sam knowing you made it. That's the streets. Money that you can't get taxed for is the streets. If he said F the streets, he said pay taxes. Am I lying? If you saying F the streets, you saying all money need to be through the system. No illegal money. Now somebody would say that's not what he's saying, Pharaoh. He's talking about the violence. You can't have unregistered money without violence. You can't have money on the streets without violence. You can't make street money without violence. Because when you're making money outside the system, you don't have legal protection. Businesses have legal protection. If you hustling, you got to have illegal protection. Same thing, just different toilet. Same shit, different toilet. So when somebody say, oh, they just want to have the streets and stop the gang violence, this is impossible. And why you putting that on black people? So did Al Capone and Bugs Moran didn't have no violence? I'm confused. So you're telling me that Al Capone and Bugs Moran could have sold illegal liquor with no violence and no gang because they was gangs. They was gangs. Were they not? Was not America formed by gangs? So Lucky Luciano in New York and them wasn't gangs? Old man Kennedy wasn't a gang? They sons became president. Name me a president whose family didn't come out of a gang. I'll wait. This whole country was built off a gang. As a matter of fact, the Cowboys was a gang, and the Indians was a gang. That was gang banging. That was turf wars. The bank got Brinks trucks and armored cars with machine guns in there. Gangster. The bank ain't gangster. The bank won't send men with guns and kick you out your house if your taxes get behind. The police, the FBI, and all of them, they ain't got guns. If you get locked up in Chicago, a lot of the jails in Chicago, when you go, it's a sign in the jail, like where the sergeant at. You know what the sign say? CPD, the biggest gang in Chicago. That is in police stations. Facts. Ask somebody. It's a Chicago Police Department, the biggest gang in Chicago. It's a sign, be in the police stations. And I've been in a lot of them. I've been on 12th Street down there. I've been over there on 87 Racine, 111 over East, 111 over West. I can't even name all the police stations I done been in as a shorty for marijuana. And now Trump's gonna make it legal. And guess what? Why he gonna make it legal? Because he gonna make it cashless. F the streets. You ain't gonna be able to sell no weed on the streets because you're gonna have to, because there ain't gonna be no cash. Ain't gonna be no cash. So if it's a cashless society and you gotta go to the dispensary because you can't spend money, you gotta use digital. Ain't that F the streets? If you braiding hair in your house, you represent the streets. If they go cashless, he's saying F the streets. You ain't gonna be able to braid no hair unless you got some kind of digital way to get your payment, which the government will see every head you braided. That's not F the streets. I was thinking about this today and I said, ooh wee. Lucifer's working from both sides. He's got 21 Savage saying F the streets on this side, and he's saying F the streets on the other side, and don't nobody see that. And this conversation's way up here, so I don't expect nobody to know what I'm talking about. But the ones that really see what I'm getting at. Because this is why a lot of brothers that say we can't agree with F the streets and we can't agree with you saying no violence, because that's what's going to come with making money in the streets. It's going to be violence going to come with that. And violence come with making money anywhere. Violence come with making money in the store. Stores get robbed all the time. Banks get robbed. Same violence. So the idea you making money in the streets and then you're just supposed to be peace with peace like flower children, that's not how money made is done. But it's made to look worse because you got to have illegal guns. Whereas the Babylon system got legal guns. Same thing. You got guns, the police got guns. You shoot people that shouldn't be shot, the police shoot people all the time in the back. People shouldn't be shot. They just showed where this dude shot his girlfriend. Police officer. He was dating another female police officer. She break up with him. They go on a chase of a criminal. Boom, he shoot her. Trying to pretend. You understand? This a case just happened. Chicago police officer, if I'm not mistaken, shot a female Chicago police officer that broke up with him. Tried to make it like it was while he was trying to chase down a criminal. Popped her. But he got caught. Because she broke up with him. That ain't the streets. Police pull you over, boom. You got illegal substances. They search your car. They take the illegal substances. They take your gun. They put it in their car. They tell you, you can go. That ain't the streets. So it's like this dark side got 21 Savage working for the system. Because the system is really finna shut down the streets for real. It's gonna be no movement on the streets. If you don't got nothing to rake a debit or credit card, that's it, you closed. So the government is finna F the streets for real. That's why Trump is legalizing the herb. You know why he got to legalize the herb? He got to legalize it for it to go cashless. It's got to be sold through the system. And it can't be sold through the system under what it was under. So they have to reschedule it. It can't be scheduled like it was, because then they can't sell it. They can't sell it cash. Right now they selling it for cash, but they can't turn the cash into the bank because the way the weed is scheduled. And they ain't got no problem with not turning the cash into the bank. But now they want that money, but they don't want no cash, because they know the dispensary could sell $500,000 worth in cash, but just give the government $250,000. So they gonna make it where the government see every bit, every gram you sell. It's got to go through the cashless system, and the government will see every quarter you made and tax you accordingly. No more that you sold 3 pounds out the dispensary and only reported 1 pound. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. Ain't going to be no cash. And that's why the Target that I go to got no cash, no cash, no cash, no cash, no cash on every machine. That ain't no damn coincidence. They getting you ready. Hey, we not finna do cash. I don't know. We don't know what you're gonna do, Pharaoh. But you ain't gonna be able to keep coming in here with this cash. Cause I always come in there with cash, and they like, nah, buddy. So they got 2 people, right? That you can go to and still spend cash. Watch them get rid of that. That's gonna be no cash too. So my money ain't gonna be no good. My money ain't gonna be no good. So if I am a gangster on the street, if I'm a gang on the street making money, that money ain't gonna be no good. I'm gonna have to go take that money and put that money on the card and use that money on the card. And if I put a bunch of money on the card and use it, the government gonna look at the card and call me in and say, Pharaoh, where you getting all this goddamn money that you putting on this card? Pharaoh, we see you putting a lot of money on the card, but we don't see where that money coming from. Pharaoh, where is all this money that you putting on this card? Says, oh, we got to stop y'all putting this money on this card. Okay, now you can't make no money. So you ain't going to be able to make no money. All ain't going to be no money. Everything going to be digital, so they know where it came from. You're going into a straight digital society, mark of the beast. Straight up. Ain't no cash. So they can see every transaction. You ain't gonna be able to cut no grass, cut no hair, or nothing unless you make a digital transaction. Because when you get the money, ain't nobody taking it. And after so long, they ain't gonna let you transfer it over. You ain't gonna be able to put the money in there and transfer. They're gonna be like, no, money, what money? We gave you until January 1st, 2027 to turn all your money in. And any money you don't turn in by then is trash. It's just paper. Any money that you don't turn in by January 1st, 2027, it's paper. It's trash. It will not be accepted. Now, it might be 2028, but it's coming. It's definitely coming. And they're definitely saying, F the streets. Exactly. They battling right now. Goshen, they are battling right now. Certain states is battling against the mark of the beast. That's why I say America's the new Jerusalem, because it still might not work, because Americans might resist. But that's the plan. But I don't believe Americans going to go for it, but I believe they're going to initiate it, and then there's going to be a backlash. Bro, why now? Because they just got the technology. They couldn't do it before now. They didn't have the technology to do it. This whole time, Lucifer been getting his technology together. They did not have the technology to do this. See, I've been studying the mark of the beast years ago, right? Years ago. And I was panicking it's going to come. But then I realized, oh, Pharaoh, you panicking. It can't come until they got the technology. So that's why I stopped worrying about it. Because I was pushing this way back in 1983. Cashless society coming. But then as I looked, I say, oh, okay, I can relax. Because I first started getting in this one. I worked for the U.S. Treasury Department. I started growing my dreadlocks. I was working for the U.S. Treasury Department. I was listening to the radio. I'm at work, and I used to listen to Bible in the news. And they was talking about the mark of the beast and the cashless society coming. And I knew it was real because I was putting cards in these letters. When I was seeing your letters say we got your correspondence, I was putting cards in there that said correct consider direct deposit. There was no such thing as direct deposit. And I worked at the U.S. Treasury Department encouraging people to use direct deposit before there was a direct deposit. So I'm listening to this religious channel talking about the cash as direct deposit, and I'm actually putting the direct deposit like when you used to write to the Treasury Department and say, I didn't get my check from the post office. I didn't get my check from the Secret Service. I didn't get my check from any government agency, from Social Security. I would take the letter, put it in the proper basket, so it go to Social Security, post office, all the different government agencies. Then I was a correspondence reviewer. I would send you a return letter saying we received your letter and it has been forwarded to Social Security or forwarded to this, and you should hear from them in so many days. And then I would put a card in there that say consider direct deposit, which was not existent. But at the same time, I'm listening to a Christian radio station saying that they're going to make you start putting your money directly in the bank. That's direct deposit. So they say they're going to start putting your money directly in the bank, and then you use your money at the bank, and now they can see you use your money. They ain't going to let you cash your check. And I was seeing that in 1982. 81. It might have been 81. Might have been 81. Might have been 80, really. Might have been 1980. I got to go back and look at my book and get my timeline right, because I got out of high school in 76. I worked for the book factory. 77, I went to music college. 78, I worked for the stock exchange. Yeah, it was like 79, 80. That was like 79, 80. I worked for the Treasury Department. Had my dreads. I had just started growing my dreads when I worked for the stock exchange. My dreads was baby dreads just growing. And I was listening to Bible in the news. I wonder if they still exist. Bible in the news. BibleInTheNews.com. Yep. Bible in the news. And they talk about the mark of the beast while I'm working for the Treasury Department. Exactly. Yeah, they toxic. Yeah, they toxic. They put them out there by Memphis right now. They finally got the technology to do what they want to do. They've always been fighting against the creator, but the creator could do stuff without technology, and then Lucifer is trying to match with technology to battle with technology, to battle nature, right? It's technology versus nature. Of course, we know nature's going to win, right? Let's take a break, and then we'll finish the conversations. Real talk is getting spooky, y'all. Spooky. Shout out to Emmerich. It's getting spooky. If you look at it, all the problems in the streets come from money. All of them. Even the mental illness comes from people making money. That's causing the mental illness because people using substances and all of that. So I was just thinking, and man, I was thinking about the F the streets thing, and I started thinking about the money, and I started thinking they shutting down the money, and then I was just like, oh, wow. I'm like, F the streets is deeper than what people think. It's deeper. 21 Savage don't know what he's saying. He working for Lucifer, but he don't know it. And that's how they do. They got a bunch of pieces working, right? But nobody knows the finished puzzle. So they can keep you blind because they got you working on a piece of the puzzle, you working on a piece of the puzzle, them, but nobody knows that the pieces go together. It's genius. It's evil. So they got us working on different parts that we don't know this part connect to that part. We don't know. So 21 Savage, he had no idea what he's saying. He had no idea that what he's saying is exactly what Babylon wanted him to say. Babylon agrees 100%. No street money. All money got to go through the system. F the streets. I'll give you a perfect example. It's not really the streets, but kind of. Well, it was the streets. My father worked for CTA, a bus driver. One time when I was a little boy, I might have been about 5th grade. CTA went on a long strike, which means the bus drivers wasn't getting no money. My daddy always bought these big Cadillacs. So what my daddy did was took his car and he went on his bus route. He knew all of his riders. He knew all the ladies and all the dudes that he pick up every evening. Why? Because they get off work and they catch his bus every day. So my daddy took his car and went on his route and would pull up to the corner because the people didn't know it was a bus strike right away. He'd pick the lady up, pick the dude up, take them all to where he used to drop them off at the bus stop. He dropped them off on and was charging. So my daddy was making thousands of dollars driving his bus route in his car. It was people were stranded, couldn't get home. And so once he picked you up, he said, I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here. And he picked everybody up. And everybody still went to the same bus stop, but my daddy picked him up in his car. No, he don't got to pay no taxes. That's the streets. He was hustling. He was making money under the table. Straight up. He told me a story. He said he got to one bus stop and there was a dude there. It was two dudes. And the one had a big old briefcase. He said they got in. They said, take us in, don't stop. He said he took them and they got out and the dude picked out a bunch of money and just peeled off a big stack and just gave it to my daddy. He said, I ain't even count it. I just put it in my pocket. He said, I could tell they was dangerous. He said, I could tell they was dangerous. They said, take us here and don't stop for nothing. Straight up. But he made a lot of illegal money on the streets. That was street stuff. According to what people are trying to say about the streets. They trying to say, they kind of call the streets hustling. So we use that mentality. Cool. Now I was hustling. I didn't consider it in the streets, but that's what they call it. I didn't consider it the streets, but that's what they call. I understand what they're trying to say. They're trying to call that the streets. I guess so, but the way they're using the streets now, I don't really agree with it. But just for the sake to make my point, I'm just going with it because I don't consider hustling the same as gang wars and when you start talking about the street, all that stuff got to be separated, okay? Like busting some lady in the head and SA-ing her. That ain't if that's the streets and you're trying to, that's abuse. This is this is that. Everything ain't out there can't be categorized as the streets. Hustling is hustling. Hustling ain't the streets. Gangbanging is gangbanging. Gangbanging ain't the streets. But they trying to lump it all together, but whatever. So I don't agree with what they trying to say with the streets. I don't agree with that. But for the sake of the conversation, this is what they saying. So let's look at it from that point of view. They calling it the streets. So let's use that definition. But if you really look at the situation, the system is definitely trying to say F the streets. No street money. All money must go to corporate. All money must be accounted for. No money that don't nobody know. Think about it. In a cashless society, no money. It's all cash apps and your phone and whatever, computer. Your son say, Dad, can I get $20? You got to send it to him digitally, and the government see that you gave your baby $20. Y'all cool with the government see you giving your kids money? Because that's basically where we headed. If there's no cash and you so cool with digital, every time you give your wife $100, the government see it. You send your husband $50, the government see it. You give your kids money to go to school, the government gonna see it. Your kids got to do everything digitally. The government know everything everybody in the house bought, when they bought it, when they got the money to buy it, and all that. They will know everything. They will know everything you've done financially. Just let that sink in. You send your grandbaby $100, the system got to see it. You used to could just give $100. Nobody know that happened. Now you're going to have to send it to them. which is going to be a digital record. $100 went to them. You'll have like no privacy. Boom, you get a divorce. Boom, your wife come to court. Boom, pull up your financial records. $50 to Sheila, $25 to Sheila Jackson, $150 to Sheila Jackson. Who is Sheila Jackson? That's the woman he cheating on me with. Boom, divorce. Boom, they're going to give your wife how much money? You're going to lose the divorce. You're going to have to give her so much money. That's going to be digital. Miss a payment, you're going to jail. No cash. The government seen you sent your wife the money. Ain't no girlfriend. Boom, you marry your husband named Raymond. Bam, but you got some money from Richard. Bam, your husband suspects something. He go to a lawyer, they get your records. Who is Richard? Bam. Divorce. Bam, guess what you're going to get? You're not going to get nothing, ladies, because what? They got proof that Richard been sending you money and you've been sending Richard money. But your husband named Steve, your husband named Michael, your husband ain't named Richard. Who the hell is Richard? Boom, let's say I'm Richard. Guess what? I get a subpoena. I got to go to court. What I got to go to court for? It's a divorce with Sheila. And I've been sending Sheila money. So I'm in court with the husband and the wife. I got to sit on the stand and say, yeah, I sent her the money. I can't say I didn't. There it is. It used to be a time he never could see who I am. He could see who I am now. And that could turn to real smoke now. He could pop me now after this is over. He know my face. Just think about it. You marry, you cheat, any money transactions, any dinner dates and stuff, you're going to lose everything you got. And if you go on a dinner date and it show dinner and your wife subpoena your stuff and it say 8:45, you was at this restaurant, they can go to the restaurant and look at the videotape. They can pull that videotape, go back to 8:45, because a lot of these things, they hold information for like maybe 2 years, 1 year, depending on how much data they got on their cameras. They can hit that date. There you go, sitting right there with her right there. Ain't gonna be privacy over with. Ain't nobody gonna want to get married, but a few people. Ain't nobody gonna want to get married. Nobody want to be married digitally. Who? With a digital footprint. If you get married, you're gonna have to be 100% loyal. Think about it. You're going to have to, when you marry this woman, say I do, y'all both going to have to mean I do, because the whole thing digital. Ain't no sneaking doing nothing. How? How you can't go to no hotel. There it is. And we ain't going to even tell about how your phone going to track you. It's going to be impossible to stop your phone from tracking you. Watch. They're going to be like, no, you can't take that off because your phone ain't going to work. Your phone ain't going to work unless we know where you at. Watch. All this stuff you're going to use to say, you want to stop them from doing this, hit this button. You want to start, no, that button finna be out of here. There ain't going to be no hit, no button to hide, nothing. They're going to come out, they're going to say, all that you can't block nothing. Because if you block anything, your phone ain't going to work. Because we got to know where you at for the phone to find you. Y'all know what they're going to do. They're going to find loopholes so that you have no privacy. And they go tell you, no, that privacy button make your phone stop working. You got to keep that Google Maps on. You got to keep the map on. Okay? Because if we don't see where your car at, your phone ain't gonna work. We need to know where your phone is at. Okay? If we don't know where your phone at, your phone ain't gonna work. I guarantee you they're gonna come out with that. Oh, you get the new iPhone 20? Oh yeah, you can't turn none of that off. I'm gonna keep my 19. The 19 gonna stop working. It's like I had a MacBook. It was brand new, and I had a Dell. And I liked working on the Dell for certain things and the MacBook for other things, but I didn't use the MacBook much because it cost me a lot of money. And I'm like, well, let me keep this nice. Let me just use the Dell to work on all the time. So 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 years go by. The Mac brand new. I started taking it out, using it. I want to make an iMovie. It say you can't make a movie with this. You got to update your iMovie. When I go update the iMovie, it say your Mac won't update this version. You got to get a new Mac. So I got a brand new Mac that I've saved and took care of, but Apple cheat me and make it so no matter how long I took care of it, it's still obsolete because they got a new program and the old program don't work no more. And I got to be able to put the new program on there to do it, but this one won't take the new program. So the damn Mac wasn't worth nothing. I had to go buy a new Mac with a Mac that was like brand new. That's what they're going to do with your phone. They're going to be like, nah, that phone, no. Everybody going to have to get a new phone. You watch. Everybody going to have to give a new phone. They're going to give you like 2 years. If you don't get the new one of them new ones, that one ain't going to work at all. And that one going to be plugged into the system. And they're going to know everything you do, every transaction you do, everything. It's going to definitely be after streets for real. It ain't going to be no street dating. Ain't going to be no street running around cheating on your husband. Ain't going to be no street, no extra street money. Ain't going to be no sell on the street selling nothing. It ain't going to be no selling nothing on the streets. The only chance you got on the street is trading. And if people start trading a hot item to people that's got illegal substances and they see that hot item, they're going to start looking for who buying a lot of that hot item. Okay, they trading this for this because the stuff actually becomes worth up. So now they can look and say, okay, they trading chocolate, so much chocolate you could get the illegal substance. Okay, who buying a lot of chocolate? He trading chocolate. Go get him. It ain't going to be no way around it. Everything you do going to have to go to the system. It's going to be after streets for real, for real. No braid, no hair. No. You ain't going to be able to be no street hair braider and braid no hair. You're going to have to digitally charge for that, and you're going to have to pay taxes. And that's going to have to be a business. You ain't going to be able to just braid no hair and get no money. That money going to have to be sent digitally, and Uncle Sam going to want to know, what's all this money you keep getting every Saturday? What is this? Is this a business? Don't let us find this is a business. We're going to come take all that equipment and everything. You got to pay taxes. You can't just make money. It look like you making money and you ain't telling us. Shirley, come into this office. Or they might not even have you come on. They might make you get on your phone and hit you and look at you right on your phone. Shirley, what the hell is you doing? What you mean what I'm doing? What you doing? Is this your house? Scan around. Let's see. Oh, we're gonna have to shut you down. We're gonna have to close down your whole account. We got to shut down your bank account. Because it looked like it's some money coming in. You ain't telling us. What is this? This is a lot of money. Why? We don't see you paying no taxes on this. What do you do? And then not only do they see all your money, they see every customer. And the customer gonna snitch. We see you keep spending $150 with Pharaoh. Oh yeah, he do my hair. Oh, we called him. He didn't make no mention of that. They called me back. We talked to some of these people that will send you money. It seems like you're doing all their hair. This seems to be a business operation. Why is this not registered? Well, what we see right here, you owe so much. You owe this much money in taxes. You didn't give us our cut, Pharaoh. We gangsters. You can't, Pharaoh. You can't. Look, boom. Look, last Saturday you made 750. That Sunday you made 950. Then you made a lot of money during the week. During the week you made 3 grand. Oh, you on some street stuff. This after streets. After streets. No, this digital. With digital, we don't do the streets no more. We on this phone, boy. We on this phone. We on this phone. You gotta pay us. I'm on there. I knock at the door. Do do do. Our agents is at your door right now. Actually, Pharaoh. Open up the door. His name is Agent Scott Johnson. Boom, you go in there. Agent Scott Johnson. He says, Susan McClenny's still on the phone. Yes, Susan, I'm here. I'm here with Pharaoh right now. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get to the bottom of it. Pleased to meet you, Pharaoh. Now, from what I understand with the agent here, he going to be able to switch it right over to his phone. Boom, give me my phone back. He'll talk to it. She's going to be able to show, they're going to see me and her on his phone. It's going to be us two on the phone here and his face at the bottom. Yup, so I'm here with him right now. It seems like he's making some money. It seems like it seems like he's a little crooked. It does seem like he's doing illegal transactions without the proper paperwork or the proper authority. You know what I'm saying? And in government terms, we ain't getting our cut. He think we playing with him. He don't understand we gangsters. We need our money. He think we playing with him. How much time he get for this? Oh, for the first offense, 7. 7, Pharaoh, for the first offense. How much if he just keep playing? 12? 12, Pharaoh, for the 12. What's the fine? Oh, the first fine, 700 plus so much, plus so much. What is the next thing? Oh, take everything? Yeah, we take everything if you keep playing. His house and everything, car and everything. Yeah, his car. He drive a so and so, so and so, so and so, so and so. His house is where you had do. He bought that from so and so, so and so, so and so, so and so. This is how much he paid so far. A lot of this money he paid come from this money he's making that he didn't report. Yes, he got in so much thousands the first week of April, and then he paid his mortgage. I don't see any other money coming in. So yes, he definitely paid his mortgage with that money. I don't see any signs of him reporting this. I don't know what's wrong with him. He knows we see everything. He planned it out face basically. Boy, you going under the jail. You ain't gonna be able to do nothing. And he gonna be like, well, somebody should have told Pharaoh it's fuck the streets. He on some street shit. He should have listened to 21 Savage. I don't know. He didn't see when we grabbed 21, we been locked him up. He said fuck the streets, but he still tried to be slick on the streets. We arrested up 21 Savage, 22 Savage, 23. We arrested 21 through 99 Savage. We arrested all of them. Yeah, all the Savages. Yeah, we've been locked up all the Savages. They was playing in our face. Okay, well, bring him in. Bring him in. We'll sort it all out. Okay, okay. You have whatever kind of day you can have, Pharaoh. Click, just like that. Ain't gonna be no street money. You ain't gonna have no business. All your business gonna be the IRS business and the government business. And you're going to regret the day that you disrespected the streets, that you disrespected that making extra money on the side. And as far as the violence going to get worse. Because now they got to kick your door open for the actual food, for the actual diapers. Yeah, when they go into a cash society, money, no more money. Now they got to take the things they need. So now they need them groceries. They need them diapers. You're going to come on and they're going to take everything in your house because the money ain't no good. So they need the things. Think about that. With no money, now the criminals, they can't get no money to get what they want. So now they just got to get what they want, what they need. So now shoes, people going to be butt naked. They're going to come up, pull weapons on you and make you take everything off. Everything. They're going to strip you and your woman butt naked because they need the bra, the underwear, the socks, all that. They can't buy it. And they're going to be coming in your house, making you digitally check in so you don't know, so they don't know you're not there. And they're just going to be living in your house illegally. That's how dangerous it's going to be in the cashless society. Everybody got to take what they need. They got to take a house to live in. They got to take a car to drive. And they got to some kind of way make sure that you could digitally prove it's you. So it's going to be a lot of people be hostages to push that button so the lights stay on. Transfer that money on so these lights stay on and they're in your house. Especially if you work from home, they're going to have you working from home, and it's going to be criminals right there next to you, and you basically a hostage working at home so that money come on there so they can push that button so that money pay for everything so they can have somewhere to live because it's going to be like 911. They got to find somewhere to live. They got to find some food. They got to find some clothes. There ain't no legal money. They can't make no illegal money. You know how dangerous that's going to be? When nobody can make no illegal money, it's going to be extremely dangerous. And then there's going to be prisons everywhere where people working for digits, and all that work going to keep the system running. Everybody, a lot of people, you're going to be working for free because you're going to have to break the law. They're going to definitely catch you. They're going to lock you up, and you're going to be doing all this work that they paying people to do. You're going to be doing it while you serve your time. Facts. Facts. If you did broke the law and they arrest you in banking, they're going to lock you up in a federal penitentiary or a state penitentiary, and you're going to be in there doing banking. Fact. Boy, watch. Everything I'm saying, watch it come to pass. You're going to be in prison doing what you do, what your profession is, just to stay there in the prison. Just like they got the men out there picking cotton right now, they're going to have you doing all these jobs in prison because they're going to be arresting more people because people are going to be desperate in the cashless society trying to figure a way to weave around it. And it's going to be definitely after streets in the worst way. In the worst way, they're going to shut down hustling. There's going to be no hustling. They're about to shut it down. And when you shut down hustling, what that mean? That mean after streets. Tell me I'm lying. Because you're going straight into a cashless society. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. No ifs, ands, and buts. You 100% are going into a cashless society. You ain't paying no cash for nothing. You here in Chicago, you ain't paying no cash to park. They don't take no cash. They start not to take no cash in the store. Ain't nobody going to the teller. Everybody going to the ATM. They slowly putting the clamps on us. Slowly. slowly. Even the police gonna be digital. Even the police gonna be digital, plugged up. Even the police gonna be plugged up. They're gonna be plugged up everywhere, just standing up next to buildings, being charged up, always ready to walk out and get you. And then they just bag back up and be charged up and be right on the block. They're gonna be right on the block charging. They already in Whole Foods trying to get you to scan your palm. They got the new palm scanner. They want you to put your palm and let them take a digital print of your palm and then start putting your palm there to pay for your stuff. The market will be straight up, like no. And then, like I said, Trump, he trying to legalize the herb so it could be digital. They ain't gonna. I bet you ain't gonna be able to buy it with cash. That's the only reason they legalizing it, because it's digital, and now they can trace everything. So yeah, it's gonna be after the streets, all right. That ain't gonna be no good thing. I knew after the streets wasn't no good, because the streets is where you get money, a lot of money, where the government don't know. We get money government don't know on the streets. And I made a lot of money on the streets that the government couldn't get. I'm not trying to hear after streets. I was in the streets, getting money. I'm not everything I did got me here. I'm legal now, but the running around in the streets helped me tremendously. When I first came to Chicago, I was stabbed up. I met a sister that I had been knew. We started hooking up. We ended up husband and wife. She had a house. She was about to lose a house. I was a vendor working concerts and stuff. I worked the concerts, made a little money so she could pay down some stuff on the house. Slowly got the house paid. At one of the roster concerts, people was asking me for herb. So I was running around. This is how I got in the game when I got to Chicago. So people was asking me for herb, right? Like Saturday at the Haile Selassie event. So I would go to one of the brethren. He might have herb. He might have it for $20. I come back. I tell them 25 or 30, right? So I'm taking a 20. Boom, I'm going to get it. I'm taking a 25 or they 30. I'm taking a 30. I'm going to get it. Giving them 20, keeping 10, go back. So I'm making 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 this Saturday, right? Let me show you real hustling. This Saturday. My queen at the time, she was real good at like making banners and stuff. She was real good at what's the name? The place we used to all go to print out stuff. It's gonna come to me. But they had a little place where everybody would go and do all their printing. All right, it's gonna come to me in a minute. So she was real good at that. So that Saturday night, when we left, we went to the 24-hour place where you do your own printing. Like she could type up cards, you could put them there, and then you could go get them printed up. So Saturday night, after I was doing all that, I went and got some cards, got them printed up, got me a beeper, Kinko's. So I went and got a card, boom, got me a beeper. Like soon as I left, I got me a beeper, I got me a card, I put my beeper number on the card, right? I put my beeper number on the card at Kinko's. Soon as we left the event, I went to the beeper place that was still open, got me a beeper, real talk. Or I might have got the beeper that next morning, but before I came back to being that next day, I had a beeper with my phone number on it, right? With my beeper number on it. So when I come back Sunday, I'm doing the same thing. They want to get some herb, they give me the 20, they give me the 30, I go give dude 20, I keep the 10, I come back. But I give them my card. I don't even have no herb. I'm still going to get it from this other roster and make it $10 off each one. but I'm giving everybody my card. My queen's sister was was married to a Jamaican, and they had all the herb. She was always complaining her sister won't give her no herb. No herb. I said, "Why you don't be well?" So then Monday, I went to see her sister, bought me like a QP or a half. People started calling on my beeper. That's how I started hustling when I learned how to walk. As a matter of fact, I was still on crutches. I was out there vending on crutches. I had just got stabbed up. I was out there selling my reggae stuff on crutches. Real hustler, right? So now more and more people start calling for the herb, calling for the herb, calling for the herb. My clientele going through the roof. Now we making a lot of money, right? One day I went to this one older lady. She was like older. She was probably like in her 50s, her and her husband. And one day she said, "You got that white stuff?" And I was like, "No," because I didn't mess with that. I thought that was evil. I was like, I just do the herb. But I had got stabbed up. I was turning dark. I was dark anyway. I wasn't no holy dude no more after I got stabbed. That's what the book is about. I ain't gonna go into details of that. But now I'm turning to something else. That righteous dude, he passed away. So now I'm reborn and I'm getting darker and darker every day. My boy, he knew where to get that at. So I went to see him. I said, "Man, I need some white stuff." He said, "Oh, no, not Mr. Righteous." But what you don't understand is I was turning darker every day because I was born again. I was a born again demon. So I went and got that. Boom. Give her that. Her daughter wants some. His husband, this person, that person. That started. So now I'm going from crippled to making thousands, thousands. So I got the green, I got the white. My cousin used to come and wash my cars and do little stuff for me because he a little slow. He's not my real cousin, but I've been knowing him. We've been knowing each other since we've been born. So I still hung out with my day one, even though he wasn't cool and suave. I was supposed to hang out with the other cool and suave players, but I just hung out with my regular cousin. He wasn't none of that. He was slow or whatever, but that's my man. So I kept dealing with him. So one day he wanted to go to a hotel. So he had me go pick up this girl. So I picked up this girl. She get in the car. She said, "Hi." I said, "What's your name?" I said, "My name Carlos," right? So she like, "Carlos, my mama getting this hard," which I didn't know nothing about from this dude. "And it's always messed up. Could you get it for her?" I said, "Y'all look into it." I went to my man I was getting a wife from and some hard. He said, "Yeah, come." Boom, I met him. He showed me how to whip it up. Bam. Now I got a sea house. Now that's what? Monday through Thursday, that's like what? Like 2 grand. And then Friday and Saturday, that's like what? 4 grand. And Sunday might be like 750. Anyway, it's like thousands. So now I'm a thousandaire. Like now I'm making a lot of money. I got say dangerous weapons. I got Rottweilers, from, and I'm doing deliveries, all drive deliveries, hustling and making a whole lot of money. I didn't, and at the sea house, all I had to do was drop her mother off the stuff. I drop her off $600 worth. She give me 100. She keep 100. She give me 500. Off of every six, I give her 600, 100 her, 500 man. I might do that twice a day, sometimes once a day. But on the weekend, I had to drop off like 1,200. She keep two, I get the grand. On top of the other white and the green, I'm doing deliveries day and night, cash. So a cashless society, no good. But I'm saying all that to say what I look like now, talking about after streets. When I was driving up and down the streets, I am the streets built me. What I look like being a hypocrite, You know what I'm saying? Coming to y'all telling y'all a bunch of righteous bull when I was really out there a demon. Now I ain't that no more, but I can't turn around and pretend like I'm holy from Zion and I was out there on demon time. So I'm not gonna turn around now and diss somebody that's doing what I was doing. What kind of phony stuff is that? And the fact is that took me to the next level because that money I put into the record business, I started being with young dudes. And then by them rapping, and now I got this money from illegal activity to open a legal record label. Now these young brothers, I'm keeping them out the streets. So now they ain't in the streets. They not gang banging. They not doing nothing because they rapping. So that negative turned into positive because it gave me the money to take care of my family, to take care of the queens, to raise some children, and to invest in the music business and to put me around them. So now I'm trying to keep them out of trouble, which means I got to stay out of trouble. So the negative turned positive. So what I look like chopping off that part of my life, it is what it is. I'm not going to turn around and say, F that. That, what? I helped the queen keep her house and redo her house with that money. I helped send children to school and college with that money. I helped dudes make songs. I got songs on Showtime and on TV. I won a lot of awards. We traveled all across the country with that from that money invested into the legal money. The illegal money invested into the legal money. So yeah, the legal money is good, but the illegal money made the legal money. And the whole America's like that. So how you gonna say up the streets when America was built off illegal money? Slavery was illegal money. Moonshine was illegal money. All of the substances coming in, they flying them in. That's illegal money. Who's getting it? But you don't want to say nothing about the government and the big politicians that's got them planes coming from South America with all them substances. You want to hate on the brother on the block. But you ain't got nothing to say about the cartels and the government. You know doggone well they can't bring that stuff in without government assistance. You know that. Why you ain't talking about them? Saying F the streets with the government. Why you ain't saying F the streets with all this Percocets and all these legal substances people is on? Oxycodone, where that come from? That's legal. Fentanyl, legal. Where that come from? That's a pharmaceutical that's used in medicine today. What do you mean F the streets? What you mean F the streets? When the government did the same thing. The only thing they did was the Irish and the Italians and all them, they gave them a pass and let them get rich and let them go legal. And then when the black man did it, they didn't let us go legal. That's what they did. All the white ethnic groups from Europe did crimes and was criminals and was organized crime and organized gang, and they helped them go legal. And then when the black man came in, they changed the laws. Biden and them started wanting to give us 1,000 years for some hard, right? And made it so that we couldn't do what the Italians, the Irish, and the Jewish people did. They did the same thing. And then they took their illegal money from crime and they built prisons and then sent us to the prisons and had us work for their crime families. Because all them prisons is built with crime money. The whole United States is built with crime because taking the country was a crime. America started with crime. America started with crime. And when the whites was over here and the British was coming over here trying to tax them, they was like, we ain't doing taxation without no representation. We're going to sell our own liquor. We're going to get our own hustle. We ain't giving y'all nothing. And that's what started the Revolutionary War. that the gangsters over here didn't want to be gangstered by the British. They say, you can't come over here gangstering us. It was founded on that. Yeah, the Irish and all of them. It was all gangsters. Then the blacks became gangsters. Bumpy Johnson and all the blacks in Chicago. Mushmouth and all of them. They all became gangsters too. That's how we survived. All your ancestors, that's how we survived. Y'all don't think your great-great-granddaddy down south was moonshining and sending it to the north? You crazy. Granddaddy didn't just have a farm. He had a spot back there. My granddaddy was in Alabama. And one of our relatives, my mother used to always talk about Sugar Man. Sugar Man was a bootlegger. And when we went to one family reunion, we there in the family reunion, and the doggone sheriff car pull up and blow the horn. My granddaddy come out with shotgun and say, what you want? Because they couldn't just drive up because black folks were standing on business. So my granddaddy come out on the porch with his shotgun. And the sheriffs is out there on the road, go this way. They can't turn up on my granddaddy road. So my granddad say, what you want? They say, hey, Sammy. He said, come on. And then they pulled up. It's a family reunion. Everybody get around the car. They open the back door and let Sugar Man out. Sugar Man got out. They brought him so he could see the family for the family reunion and took him back to jail, to prison, whatever. He was a bootlegger. That's all he do. My mama said, as fast as he get out, he go right back in them hills and bootleg, and they catch him again. His name was Sugar Man. And I don't know if there's anybody alive. I need to go down south and meet the survivors from my mother's generation to see if they can give me some information on some pictures of Sugar Man. He was a bootlegger in Alabama, Uniontown area. Facts. The streets, when there wasn't no streets, when it was hills. Because people always had to do what they had to do to survive. Always. So I'm not going to hate on these shorties because they out here flipping pills or doing whatever they feel they got to do to survive. They ain't got no guidance or nothing. And everything they doing finna be over anyway. Because they finna shut down the hustling. They finna shut down the hustling. And it's going to be a cashless society. And when it's a cashless society, that's when you're going to respect the streets. Because they finna shut the streets down. Because it's going to be no cash. You ain't going to have to worry. You ain't got to worry about F the streets. It's going to be F everybody. It's going to be F everybody. You don't have to worry about F the streets. They're going to shut everything down. And it's going to be a cashless society, and you ain't going to make no money unless you get sanctioned by the powers that be. That's why they legalizing herb, because it's going to be digital. It ain't going to be no cash. You ain't going to be able to get no herb with no cash. That way the government going to know every little bit of herb sold. The government going to know. This is a picture of F the streets. That's what this picture say. This picture say F the streets. We finna take y'all business from y'all. And it's going to be all digital. Let that sink in. G's up. Y'all support the channel too. You know what I'm saying? Support the channel. And G's up. Holds down. BNs. Move around.